Hello folks, this is Sula once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. In this video, we're going to be looking at a Dawnbringers comp, or something that starts as Dawnbringers and goes into another comp from there. And we're going to see what a very high-end version of this comp looks like. Now, you might notice this game is being played on the public beta environment, the PvE, so keep that in mind. All the usual caveats for the PvE apply. That is kind of a weird player base in between sets, not everybody necessarily trying as hard as they might otherwise. But the reason why I wanted to showcase this PvE game is because it's being played on the patch that's going to release to the public on Wednesday, the day that I post this video. So basically, this is me playing the patch a day early before it goes out on the live server. I wanted to get a chance to test what was going on to my Karma bread and butter comp. It was nerfed in the previous patch, and then it's being buffed in this patch. And so I wanted to have a chance to test it out, see how it feels in comparison to the current patch, where it feels pretty bad. Karma not really in the meta in the current patch, but wanted to get a chance to test this out, and did so on the PvE. Also get to fool around with some other stuff that I normally don't have, such as you basically get infinite riot points if you run games on the public beta environment. So I'm able to get all of the other Feather Knight little legends. So you see me with the, what is it, the Raven one? I don't know the exact name. And then also get to mess around with some of the different stages. This background stage is one of the ones that they released in set 1. And it looks really terrible. It's just a background color swap of like the default stage. So I believe it's called the Verdant Arena, but it's like super rare because no one wants to spend riot points buying this thing. I actually kind of like it. I don't know why, but I'm not going to spend real money on this. So the only time that I get to see this is on the public beta environment. Alrighty, so what is going to get changed in this patch? And again, this patch is going to get released to the public right around when I post this. So there were a number of changes in this patch. And the big thing that I'm trying to focus on is a lot of buffs to the kind of the Dawnbringer patch. As you see me completely changing up the setup here. I was going to play Legionnaire for the early game, but then I got the Nunu to appear, and I got the Brand to appear, and I was like, oh, we'll play Brawler Spellweaver for the early game here. So, like I said, a number of buffs to the kind of the Dawnbringers / Karma comp. Kind of the key pieces of the comp were buffed. Karma herself received a buff. She got a slight damage increase at 2 stars, but she got a larger damage increase at 1 star. And that definitely makes her more viable. But it's not really just the increase to Karma's damage that makes this team comp more viable once again. It's the combination of buffs to other part of the comps and then nerfs to some of the other comps that were really competing with it. The biggest issue for the Karma team comp in the patch that is just concluding as this video is posted is it's a kind of weak in the mid game. It kind of suffers in the mid game. And so what I was finding when I tried to run that team composition in the patch that's just ending is that I was just getting destroyed by skirmisher players in particular, but a lot of team comps that kind of spiked in the mid game, just causing all kinds of problems for me. Here you see me pick, the armory gives me some things I didn't really want. I had a choice of a normal cloak or a shadow cloak, and I take the shadow cloak because that's going to allow me to make the shadow version of Gargoyle Stoneplate, and this item is just going to carry me through the early game. It's a very, very powerful early game item, particularly if you can put it on someone like Gragas, who's very tanky. Put the Brawler bonus on Gragas as well, and then also put the Dawnbringer health regeneration bonus on him. He's going to be very, very difficult to kill, and you're going to see that over these upcoming rounds. Anyway, so as I said, the Karma comps, I ran them a lot when Set 5 released. I had a lot of success with them. Then I tried to run them in the patch that followed that, and they really ran into trouble with other comps that spiked in the mid-game, in particular Skirmishers. Skirmishers heavily, heavily buffed in the previous patch, the one that's live as I'm recording this. It was like 5 different skirmisher units all got buffed, and it was really obvious that the skirmishers were going to be a dominant team composition. But just the 3 skirmisher power spike and then the 6 skirmisher power spike just kind of takes over the mid game, and so everyone who wanted to play everyone who wants to play on live has to do something about those team compositions, or you just get completely annihilated in the mid game. Like you have to be strong in the mid game, and the Karma comp is really more of a late game comp. It really wants to get to level 8 and roll on level 8 and pick up a series of legendary units. There's a bunch of different 5 costs that are really good in this team composition, and so needless to say, if the whole game is everyone's having to roll on 7 because they're going to take too much damage from skirmisher comps and some of the other comps that spike mid-game, like Spellweavers to a lesser extent, Draven to a lesser extent, then you can't get to level 8, and this comp just doesn't really work, and that's kind of the story of that last patch. But all of the current meta comps are getting nerfed in this patch that's just releasing as you watch this video. The Skirmishers eating a whole bunch of nerfs, Draven getting nerfed, Vel'Koz getting a pretty big nerf. So if all of those comps are getting nerfed and the pieces of the Karma comp all get buffed, then, it's going to be much more viable, just as the opposite thing happened in the previous patch. So in this patch, as I said, Karma getting buffed. In addition to that, Soraka got a nice buff. They knocked 10 off her mana cost. Instead of her requiring 80 mana to cost, she's only going to require 70 mana to cost. Or it's 70 going down to 60. I can't remember, but it's 10 getting knocked off her mana cost. Other key units in the composition also getting buffed. Ivern is a key unit in this team composition, and Ivern got buffed. They claim it's a bug fix, but I think it's just pretty much a straight buff to him. In addition to that, Volibear, who is over-nerfed, is also getting buffed. And these are all key units that play into this comp. Here, I'm going to race for this tier, and I am, in fact, going to get it before this other player. So if you're going to play Karma, you need tiers, and I was able to grab one there, so that made me feel very happy. All right, so like I said, that's the reason kind of why I'm looking to play this. I'm just trying to test, get some practice in on playing this comp in the expectation that hopefully I'll be able to run this team composition on live, hit the ground running, and, maybe we'll have time to do some ranked play and maybe do well there. Okay, so my board currently has no 2 stars at all. I've got a Brawler frontline, which is the preferred setup to play into this comp just because Gragas is a really good frontliner, and he can stick around for a long time in this team composition. So we've got Brawler frontline. I tossed in Soraka for Dawnbringer, so Gragas has the extra HP, he's going to heal, and then I also have Spellweavers in with the Brand and the Ziggs to do some damage. Now, I'm looking at this other comp. This is one of the other players. I was like, all right, I don't think I win this round. This person has 2-star Leona and 2-star Vayne. They've got Redeem trade in. I was like, I really don't think I win this round, but, Gragas just is lasting so long. I mean, he does finally get taken out, but he bought so much time. I have 3 units alive to just the Vayne, and it turns out I'm going to win this round, which really surprised me. I was not expecting to win that round. I think the other person's team comp was stronger than me, at least in terms of units, but that Gargoyle Stoneplate just so strong in the early game if you can put it on a tanky champion. It's really good on, obviously, Gragas. It's quite good on if you have Brawler and Dawnbringer in play. It's good on Leona if you have Knight and Redeemed in play. It's also quite good on Hecarim with the Forgotten trait because he becomes very difficult to kill if you can get the Cavalier bonus. So really good on tanky units in the early game. Doesn't scale that great into the late game, but great for the early game. I should say what it actually does is your unit heals a little bit of health every second, and they heal more if there's more enemy units around them. So again, here we've got a Hellions team comp. This player has not lost yet. So this is a really important match because I haven't lost yet, and this player hasn't lost yet. So one of us is going to have our win streak interrupted, and one of us is going to carry our win streak through to the minion round. So again, just look at Gragas. He's just healing for so much because he has all these Hellion units around him. So he's healing back, I'm seeing 180, I'm seeing 135. Finally, his Dawnbringer healing kicks in, but he is still alive. Brand is still casting. Gragas is still alive, and they just cannot get through Gragas because the Hellions put a lot of units that individually don't deal a lot of damage on the board. And so they just can never, ever get through Gragas' healing. And so somehow, even though I have 0 2-star units, I win streak all the way through stage 2. And then that's going to set up the rest of this game because I've got the big win streak. And that means I am rich, rich, rich. And that means my economy is off to a roaring start. I have 40 gold here at the start of the Krugs. And I'm level 5. That's just tremendous. I'm so rich at this point in time. It's hard for me to put in words what a good situation this is. So again, the problem is I just don't have any 2-stars. If I can start 2-starring these units, I'm going to be in really good shape. I get a great drop there from the minion round. I get a tier, which is what I need. Now I can make blue buff on Brand, so now Brand will cast constantly. I've got Spellweaver in, so his damage will go up. And then looky here, I managed to get a rod as well. So in this team composition, you want tiers and you want rods, and then for the rest of what you want, you just want to get more tanky. But those are the key items there. Now, since I'm on the big win streak, I'm going to go ahead and level up to level 6. I can actually level to 6 right here on stage 3-1, which is an early point in time to level to, level here. And I actually end up rolling there because I had so many pairs. I wanted to look to see if I could make something. So I was like, all right, I'll stop rolling here. I'm going to stay at 30 gold, but I managed to hit a unit. I managed to hit the Ziggs and 2-star it, so that's nice. Now I've got good items on the brand, and I managed to 2-star the Ziggs, and I have 6 units in because I was rich enough to do that. So I'm going to stop here. I don't want to eat into the economy more than that, but I'm hoping that I've gotten strong enough that I'll be able to keep the win streak going. The Nidalee is not really a particularly key unit. She did get buffed in this patch. I actually don't think she's that key of a unit to this team composition. She's a unit that I prefer not to play in the Karma setup if possible, just because I think there's better units you can play. But, I'll toss her in for right now. She's really not the unit I want. I kind of want to get another Abomination unit in because then I can get the actual Abomination in play. And then look at this. I hit a needlessly large rod and I hit the Nuno. I was like, geez, okay, now we're really high rolling. So I have a choice to make here. I can commit this for a death cap if I want, but I'm going to hold and wait until this minion round and then see what I can get. Or not minion round, wait for the carousel, because I wouldn't mind making a death cap here. That's a good item to make. Or also, alternately, maybe I can combine these together into 2 different items. For instance, if I can get if I could get a shadow glove, for example, that would be amazing. Then I could make shadow gauntlet, plus I could make gunblade with the sword and the rod that I still have on my bench. So I just want to wait and see what item I get from the carousel before I commit this. Leave my options open here. I think I'm still strong enough to keep win streaking. Like this comp, I'm pretty sure I'm stronger than this one because they're only level 5. And now that I've hit the 2-star Nunu and the 2-star Ziggs, I'm really quite strong here. Gragas is still extremely difficult to kill. He does eventually go down, but like Nuno just one-shots the Varus on the other team. Literally eats him instantly, and I was like, oh, cool. And I'm back to 40 gold again. Like, I am just so rich in this game. It's really nice to win these rounds because when you get the money, you are able to use it. Like I was able to go to 6 early, roll a little bit. And then look at this. We're going to go ahead and hit the we're going to hit the brand 2-star, and then there's a Callista here. I can't remember if I pick up the Callista. I really should drop the Nidalee and play the Callista because that would get the Abomination in play, and that's much better than a 1-star Nidalee with no items that doesn't make Dawnbringer 4. Just makes Dawnbringer 3, which doesn't do anything. So let's see if I am smart enough to pick that up. In retrospect, that was 100% the play here. Grab the Callista and play the Abomination, but I don't know if I spotted that during the game. Still, hitting the 2-star brand is really big. Now we've got 2-star brand, and we've got 2-star Ziggs, and we've got the 2-star Nunu. So brand's ult does over 1,000 damage. Of course, it takes time to tick all the way down, but I mean, he does an awful lot of damage, and it only goes up as the fight goes on because he's got the Spellweaver buff in play. So we're just kind of annihilating these other teams right now because I've been high rolling in this game really, really hard, and I'm just going to look to keep snowballing if I can. And in fact, we're doing a lot of damage to these other teams, too. Oh, yeah, I actually do highlight the Callista, but don't pick it up for some reason. That's a mistake for sure. But it turns out I'm actually going to be able to get the Abomination in anyway here, if in a way I didn't quite expect, if I remember this correctly. So my top item here is the Shadow Rod. I would love to get that. That would allow me to make Shadow Death Cap. Yeah, could make Shadow Death Cap, which would be great. I also would like the glove, but that's also gone. So what am I going to take here? I'm going to take the Rise with the Shadow Vest. And even though I don't get the Callista, I'm able to get Abomination in anyway because I'm just going to be able to put Rise in, and that's going to allow me to play Abomination anyway. In fact, I should have picked up the Callista. I could have had Abomination 4 by playing both of them, and that would have been smarter. But here you see me take out the... wow, I'm stumbling on the word here. Take out the Nidalee. There we go. Put in the Rise. Now we have Abomination in play. And I'm going to make the Shadow version of the GA on him. And the reason for this is that item will transfer over to the Abomination. And it's also an item that I'll be able to transfer to someone else long term. I can put the Shadow Guardian Angel on a frontliner later. Rise is not going to stay in this comp long term. He's just being played in here to get me to the late game. And now I'll put a useful item on the Abomination, and he'll be in this comp and come back to life basically at full health. He'll lose attack speed, but that's okay. Rise doesn't need attack speed that badly. He's not really an auto attacker. He's a spellcaster. So, I mean, again, we're looking really good here. Now I'm just going to try to econ up to 7. I'm going to win this round pretty easily. The Abomination doesn't even come out of its grave. And I was trying to make this point before. I'm doing a lot of damage to the other players. This is one of the things why it's nice to be so strong. When you win these rounds overwhelmingly, like I just did 12 damage to that person, Phoenix, with a bunch of numbers. Like I knocked out a quarter of that player's remaining health in that round. So it's always nice when you can do this and just inflict heavy damage on people. So here I will, in fact, go ahead and level to 7. Just because I want to win this round. It's really important to try to win this round, keep the win streak going. If I can keep the win streak going into the minion round, then that's worth quite a bit of extra money for me. Keep that plus 3 gold bonus going into that round. So again, wish I'd picked up that Callista. I would play the Callista over the Nidalee right now, and I'd have 4 Abomination in, which would be very strong at this stage of the game. With the Abomination picking up the Shadow GA for sure, and then getting either the blue buff, which isn't very good on the Abomination, or the Rod. Looks like the blue buff went to the Abomination, so okay, whatever. But anyway, so once again, we're up against... This player's also level 7, but this player has no economy whatsoever. Really has not managed their money probably as well as they should have. So we just annihilate this player. The Abomination does finally come out. Hi, Scion. Nice to see you. So we win that round, do 10 damage, and it wasn't really particularly close. So 10 rounds played and 10 victories puts me in just amazing shape for this game. Now, this game, and then we're going to hit the Gragas 2-star, which is also really, really nice. So I'm just going to, again, keep pushing economy, try to get to level 8, and then I'll finally roll on level 8 and start trying to put this comp together. This is not the hardest game. These other players, again, this is PvE, so it's kind of a weird situation. Sometimes I run into players on... I don't spend that much time on the public beta environment, but sometimes you do get players that are really, really good. Like, you get people who are, like, Diamond and Masters players that are trying to experiment early on the patch, and then sometimes you just get players who have absolutely no clue what they're doing. And in this game, it feels like maybe it was one of those situations. Aha, here we're actually going to find the Karma. An early Karma. And so, like, this is, again, a super high roll game. I'm not even going to have to roll to pick up the Karma here. I just get the Karma immediately. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's great. We'll just look to play Karma. I think that I put in the Karma here. I think that this is actually a mistake in retrospect. What I should have done is I think I should have stuck with the... Spellweavers a little bit longer and then played Karma at 8. Done the transition at 8. I think this is a little bit early because I lost the Abomination, and I think my comp noticeably gets weaker here. And like now the Ziggs doesn't do anything. I don't have Spellweaver. Now I don't have Abomination, so Rise is kind of doing nothing. So like I said, I think this was a mistake. I think I should have just held Karma, wait until level 8, done the big transition at level 8. And I think I actually made my comp weaker there. But it's all right. This comp doesn't seem to be that strong that we're up against here. This person has, a lot of gold, but a gazillion items sitting on their bench, and what they have just doesn't appear to be all that strong. I would think if you're down to 41 health that you would maybe roll a little bit on 7, but apparently not. Apparently not going to commit items or roll and just gets knocked down to 26 health. So I am happy with that. All right, now we're going to get another armory here. So I had a choice of what I want, and I was like, ooh, okay, I know what I want here. I'm going to take that Shadow Rod. So I've been getting very, very heavy rods and tiers in this game, which is, of course, what you want when you're playing this comp. So I'm going to make Shadow Death Cap, and then I'm going to add on the Needlessly Large Rod, and we'll look to find another item for my setup here. By the way, I actually find a brand in the store, and I was like, let's just put brand back in again. So this puts Spellweavers back in, puts Abomination back in. Like I said, me realizing that, oh yeah, probably sold the brand a little bit too soon. Probably should have stuck with this comp a little while longer. But I'm going to stay with this here, and then I'm going to look to roll in a little bit. Probably after the carousel, and then look to start getting into my final form here, final team composition. Again, the reason why I wanted to highlight this game was I really wanted to showcase what a true endgame version of like the Karma team composition can look like, which normally you're just not rich enough to reach that point, but I am super rich in this game, so I'm going to be able to build like the strongest possible version of this team composition and get a chance to showcase it here. Again, another round where I thought I was probably going to lose, but this person who has down to just 14 HP and has like a gazillion units on their bench, I think they're trying to do Forgotten Reroll, but looks like they haven't quite put it together yet. And hopefully for me, we'll just knock this person out of the lobby before they do put it together. So I'm over 50 gold here. I'm level 8. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll roll a little bit. And then I get another huge hit. I get the Heimer, and then I get the Ivern. And I was like, okay, now we want to start going into the endgame portion of our comp here. So we're going to drop the Abomination. We're going to drop the Spellweaver. I'm going to drop the Rise. I believe I dropped the Rise here. And we're going to play Rel instead. Rel has no particular synergy in this comp, but she's just a good frontliner. And now I'm trying to figure out who do I want to put this Fallen Guardian Angel on. And I end up putting it on Nunu. And the reason why is Nunu also will come out of the comp eventually. And that'll allow me to transfer it to someone else. I'm hoping that eventually I can put that on Garen. I'd love to have that Fallen Guardian Angel on Garen long term. But we'll see if we're able to hit him. So once again, we're going to have Karma just blow up the backline. She's only a 1-star unit, but she has quite good items. With that death cap, or shadow death cap, she's going to do an awful lot of damage. And then I'm still trying to figure out what her last item is going to be. I've got a sword on the bench, so I could always make Gunblade, although I don't think it's a great item on Karma. It's okay. It's not great. Or alternately, I could toss that tier on her. We could make the Archangel Staff, which also got buffed in this patch. Again, not a great item on Karma because her mana cost drops so low, she doesn't really get much benefit from it, but it is a possibility. I also could make Spear of Shojin, depending on what we get. So I'm going to wait and see what I get on this carousel, and then wait to see what I get from the last minion round. And up to go from there. So there is a Karma here. So there is also the possibility to just grab the Karma. So I only need one more Karma to get to Karma 2-star. But we're going to see, is that unit still there? And it is still there, but I decide I'll go ahead and take the sword. I go ahead and take the sword for 2 reasons. One, it's on a 4-cost unit, so it's the most expensive unit here. The other reason, just to give me more options, I like the idea of making a Shojin with one of these. Now I can go ahead and make Shojin on the Heimer, which is a really good item on him. And then I can also look to make Gunblade on Karma, which isn't as good of an item, but still not bad. And then I high roll like an amazing amount. I roll, I press reroll twice and find Karma 2-star. I was like, oh, okay, well, now we can just stop rerolling here. Now we can go to 9, but I'm going to pick up the Teemo here. This is the first time I take any damage in the game. do drop from 100 health down to 94 health, but I'm going to grab the Teemo because what I want to do is I want to play 4 Invokers, which makes for a really, really strong setup. Very difficult to play 4 Invokers because you need to have Teemo, you need to have Teemo's a 5-cost, you need to have Karma and Ivern, who are 4 costs. And then you also need to get Syndra, who's easier to find as a 2-cost. But now I'm going to be on the lookout for Syndra, so I can play Syndra as a... if I can put in Teemo and Syndra and get 4 Invoker in, which is really nice. Invoker grants additional mana on everybody's auto attacks, everyone on the team. With Invoker 2, it's 3 extra mana per auto attack. With Invoker 4, it's 6 extra mana per auto attack. It makes a big difference. Really makes a big difference. And then we're just going to randomly hit the 2-star Nidalee. So I was like, all right, I mean, I guess we'll play that. But I'm just moving into higher tier legendary units here. So like I've already got the Heimerdinger, and I've got the Teemo on my bench. So now we're looking to find Garen, we're looking to find Volibear, and I think that's it as far as this team composition goes. But as I said, this team comp really caps out at a high amount. Like, this is a very strong late game setup. As you see me repositioning here, trying to position away from a Vel'Koz laser, if I remember correctly. And I don't end up getting the comp that I was thinking that I was going to hit. I hit this Draconic comp instead. And so this comp has, has the Ashe in the back lines. Unfortunately, Karma's getting hit by the root, but it doesn't matter. We just annihilate this comp. And so once again, another round where I go 5 rounds, 5 wins. So that's 15 consecutive rounds winning this game. And I was like, am I just going to win streak every single round for the whole game? And then I find Garen. This is the most ridiculous high roll game. So I was like, all right, well, we'll just drop that. Just going to drop that Nidalee and replace it with Garen for more frontline. And so now what I want to do is I want to find still looking to find a Syndra, because I want to play Syndra and Teemo. And then I want to find Volibear, and I'm going to replace the Nunu with the Volibear, and then move the Shadow Guardian Angel over to Garen when that happens. So here we're just last minion round where you get components, and I get the components for a Quicksilver Sash. So I was like, all right, well, guess we'll just play that. There is a Taric here. I have the option to take out Rel and replace Rel with Taric, which would be slightly better, I think, if I could fully upgrade the Taric. But I wanted to push levels here, so I was like, you know what? The 2-star Rel, even though she doesn't have any traits that fit this team comp, she's still a really good unit, and she provides great frontline. So I'll just keep her in the comp, and I'll just opt to keep pushing levels here, because I want to get to 9, and I want to have a lot of gold to roll with at 9. So I'm continuing to watch these teams. There is an assassin team that I'm trying to dodge, so I'm going to try to position around that. It is nice that Heimer now has a Quicksilver Sash. And here, this is the comp that I was trying to avoid. This was the only other comp that concerned me, just because there's that Vel'Koz with the shadow version of the... oh, geez, I'm struggling to come up with the name. The Jeweled Gauntlet. Shadow version of the Jeweled Gauntlet there. And unfortunately for me, this time Vel'Koz has rolled healing on the Hand of Justice. So that means that Vel'Koz is healing off the beam, which is just 50-50 odds. If the Vel'Koz had not rolled healing, we would have won this fight. But because he did, we end up losing that fight. The perfect game is unfortunately not going to happen here, so I do take a loss. But that person has been rolling on 8, which makes sense, because normally you have to roll on 8. Normally you don't just high roll to a stupid degree like I did in this game and just hit everything without even needing to roll. So like this person's level 8 with 0 gold in the bank. So I'm not too concerned about winning long term. I'm pretty sure if I get to 9, I should be able to get to 9 after the carousel that's upcoming, and then I'll have plenty of gold to roll there at level 9. A number of people are almost out of the lobby already. We already have 2 people eliminated, 2 more people on single-digit health. So this lobby, the pace of this lobby has been pretty fast, which I think is due in part to the fact that I've won so many rounds that I've just been dealing very heavy damage to the enemy teams because I was so strong from such an early date. Look at Heimer, by the way. That Heimer ult, just so much damage. We do have Renewer in. We don't have Renewer 4, and that is technically an option. I could play Renewer 4, but I don't really want to play Vlad or Lissandra to get Renewer 4. If I could get a Spatula with the Renewer on it, would be really nice to get Renewer 4. But just having Renewer 2 is pretty nice as it is. That's coming from Soraka and the Ivern, and then also from the Heimerdinger. Heimer has pretty good items, too. The Shojin's really nice on him. The Quicksilver Sash, not critical for him, but it certainly does make him a little bit safer in that he can't get crowd controlled at the start of the fights. The comps I'm most concerned about right now are this Assassin one that I'm highlighting right now, the Phoenix, and then the Vel'Koz, which again, I'm still positioning, trying to be away from Vel'Koz's beam, which is why Karma is on the left-hand side as opposed to the right-hand side. Rel is on the top right corner so that when she ults, she's designed to jump back to Karma and then get her shield off on Karma. The one downside is I will get hit by the Abomination with this positioning in this particular fight, but I wasn't too concerned about this comp, so I was not positioning for this one. You see, I kind of annihilate everything except the Scion itself. There's not really a whole lot left. And Scion, again, mostly provides crowd control, not damage, so we're able to win that without any real difficulty. And by the way, on stage 5-3, we're already down to 4 players, so that's kind of crazy. There's the top 4 music playing in the background. So once again, I have my choice of what I want to pick up here, so I'm just going to wait. I actually get second pick on Carousel because there's so few people here. I would have taken the Shojin, which would be nice, but instead I'm going to take the Shadow Trap Claw, and this is a new item that you just saw was just reworked in this patch that just came out on live, in which I'm playing here on PvE. This provides now, it's like a Quicksilver Sash for the person standing next to it, for the person who holds the item and the 2 people on either side of them. Will block 1 negative spell cast. So we're finding good stuff here. There's 2-star Soraka a little bit late, but I'm still looking for Garen. Now, can I find another Teemo? Okay, well, that's 6 more damage, but it doesn't cost any gold. So I'm going to look to put in the Teemo, and then I'm going to put this Shadow Trap Claw on the Soraka. So now Soraka and the 2 people standing next to her have 1 negative spell effect blocked. So there it is. When combat begins, a holder and allies within 1 hex will block a single negative ability. So unlike the normal Trap Claw, it doesn't stun the person who produces the ability, but it does block 1 negative ability, which is super duper nice. A great item when your carries are fully itemized to put on like a support unit in order to give them a little bit more protection in the late game. So this is pretty much my board. I'm looking to find Volibear as I 2-star Garen. And I really want to find so now we also find the Volibear. So now I can transfer this item over to Garen. And now just looking for Syndra's to get up to 4 Invokers. There's another Volibear. There's 2 more Volibears. So we went from 0 to 2-star like instantly. And now I'm like, all right, man, can I just find one more? Can I just find a Syndra here to get 4 Invokers? Because that's like the highest possible cap for this setup here. There's down to just 2 of us in the lobby as well. So it's going to be me and the Vel'Koz player. Oh, but apparently I hit someone who quit the round, right? Who exited the game right before that. Whatever. But my Ghost is going to go up and play at the Vel'Koz player. So we basically get to see what this match would look like anyway. We see the Heimerdinger ult just doing so much damage. Soraka got off a nice silence on the Vel'Koz. And yeah, we just annihilate this player. 17 damage. It was not close in this round. And now I've got a little bit longer to try and find Syndra and try to 2-star the Heimer and 2-star the Teemo. But like this is really the comp in like its final form. This isn't even my final form. No, this really is the final form for this comp. I think that this is the strongest way that you can build the Karma comp without getting like ridiculous spatula stuff, like assuming no crazy spatula stuff, I think this is the strongest version of the comp. 4 Dawnbringer with the Karma plus Soraka plus Garen plus the plus the Gragas up front, but then getting in all of these legendary units to make the comp stronger. So with Volibear, with the Teemo, with the Heimerdinger, and then hopefully with the Cinder. If we can just find one Cinder here, I know it's the end of the game, but like we hit the Heimerdinger, and because I hit 2-star Heimer, I'm going to put this item on him. So now the Heimer is fully itemized as well, and 2-star Heimer does an awful lot of damage. He was buffed on his damage in this patch as well. So here I'm going to switch to try and avoid the Vel'Koz beam again. I was trying to swap the Rel over at the last second. Didn't manage to do that, but everything else went off. And like my itemization's really good on this comp too. I was able to dodge the Shroud on the Karma. Note that the Shadow Trapclaw will not block the Zephyrs. That's a terrible Volibear ult, but fortunately I don't think it's going to matter. We are just destroying this comp on the other side. The only way this person beats me is like if they get a 3-star Vel'Koz, and they don't appear to be all that close to hitting a 3-star Vel'Koz. So again, we're just rolling down here, looking for Teemo, looking for Syndra, trying to find them. There's the Teemo. So I have now taken, 18 damage from Teemo, and there's the Syndra, So I am going to dump the Rel. Now, you might say going from Rel down to Syndra is a little bit weird, and it is, but this puts 4 Invoker in play, and 4 Invoker is just ridiculous. Like I said, everyone on the team now gets 6 extra mana protect. It's like everyone on the team has a Spear of Shojin on them. Pretty crazy stuff. So I'm going to look to slot that in, and we've now got 4 Invoker, 4 Dawnbringer, 2 Renewer, 2 Brawler, 2 Revenant. As I said, I think this is the strongest version of this particular team comp. Like, look, Teemo's Mushrooms are going to go off. Karma's casting left and right. And can we deal 18 damage in this round to knock this other player out? Well, my entire team is still alive. So as I said, this was not close. And it's a very, very dominant victory here. Again, this all flows from having such a strong econ in the early game. Allowed me to just get off and rolling and never really look back. So only 1 round lost the entire game. I think that was like 19 wins and 1 loss or something like that. But like I said, I took 18 damage from Teemo, and I took 9 damage from the other players. Pretty insane. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Like I said, this stuff will be live really soon. Until next time, hope you guys are having a great week. Have a good one. Take care, and I will see you guys soon.